Thank you. I wanted to say thank you for everybody that was here. You guys are doing a great job. I don't know if you get told that very often, but you're the front line in America, and I appreciate you so much. I appreciate everybody that's here that's a little bit in the older crowd. The younger crowd is waking up, next generation. My question is, are you Muslim, sir?
I'm an ex-Muslim.
An ex-Muslim, okay. If anybody would like to answer this question who's a Muslim in the crowd, when Islam says that Jesus, if people say that Jesus was the Son of God, kill them if they believe in it, and also that he was never crucified, that somebody was put on the cross in his place, how can those, especially the first one about killing someone if they believe that Jesus was the Son of God, how can that be a religion of peace? And for you, since you recited that, I thought that maybe you were initially a Muslim, but is there can tell me how Islam is a religion of peace if it preaches killing someone who believes that Jesus Christ was the Son of God?
You can ask your question from the speakers, I guess.
There's no Muslim up here.
But I was a former Muslim, so there's no Muslim to answer this. when I used to be a Muslim, I never, the way we think about it, when I was a Muslim, I never thought calls on killing non-Muslim were evil. Actually, we always, Islam really makes your mind think differently from logical Western thinking. We can incorporate two opposite ideas at the same time and feel perfectly comfortable with it. For instance, we used to learn that Islam is a religion of peace. And at the same time, we didn't feel any conflict when we would say, but go kill the Jews. We never thought about it as it conflicts the value system of logic. And this is the tragedy that most Muslims, the majority of Muslims, have no clue about the religion analytically. To them, it's all emotion. It's my father's religion. It's the only religion I can believe in, and it has to be right. We were told the Quran, word by word, was from God directly, and the way they recite it is so rhythmic and so emotional that really it feels very chilling. I mean, until today, if you hear the men recite it, he could be saying in the recitation, kill the infidels, but it sounds so holy. So holiness and killing are not something, when you're a Muslim, they don't conflict with one another. It has become such a sick ideology that Muslims must wake up and examine the religion, really examine the religion. But until today, they don't have the courage to do that. After the revolution in Egypt, I didn't see one person in Tahrir Square carrying a sign that says separation of mosque and state, even though that they know very well that if they apply Sharia, they will never have a democracy.
I'd like to add a bit to that about the peace by giving you a quick historical anecdote you might find useful, which is basically the word peace in Islam has an etymological connection to the word submit. And this is actually sort of the game that a lot of Muslims play. They say Islam means peace, and in a way it does. Salam comes from the same root as Islam, which is submit, which is the name of the religion. And it's a kind of a historical thing that Muhammad, according to Islamic tradition, used to send letters to the early Christian kings, for instance, in Egypt and in Constantinople.
Islam, Taslam.
And he would say, Aslam Taslam. And basically what that means is submit, have peace. And so there's a corollary between submitting, which of course brings about a lot of violence and bloodshed and killing, and then that leads to peace. And so that's why, going back to your question, how is this religion of peace if you're out to kill people? The logic is that I'm out to kill them to create peace because they're so, they're not cooperating. They're the bad guys. So we have to break them and make them submit, and then it's peace.
Also remember, Islamic law is the law of Allah, who is the supreme God. And so it's perfect justice. So the idea is to establish the rule of Islamic law over the world, which is peace. And so you have to kill people on the way to that. That's not violence. That's justice.
It's jihad.
And so you have a lot of Muslims condemning terrorism, and then when you look at their statements more closely, they're condemning Israel and the United States, but not like the Twin Towers or the Fort Hood shootings or something like that, because those things aren't terrorism. They're justice in the service of peace.
If I may just start with a comment concerning President Obama's statement about slander. Slander, libel, defamation of character have certain legal definitions behind them. To speak the truth about Muhammad is not to slander him. So I would be, as a Christian, in support of that statement, that we shouldn't slander people. But his misunderstanding of Islam and the facts is what causes him to think that the truth is slander, because the reality of Islam is so unnatural and abhorrent to the Western culture. So I can understand somebody confusing the two.
Well, also in Islamic law, there's a definition of slander that's different from that of American law. In Sharia, the definition of slander is telling something about someone that they don't want known. It could be true, but if they don't want it known and you tell it, that's slandering. So see, when I write a book about Muhammad and say this is what they say Muhammad said and did, that's slandering Muhammad, because they don't want Westerners to know those things, even if they're all true.
Just to add to that, and it's based on something you just said, Nani, which is basically, like, as you do, I watch a lot of Arabic programs of these sheikhs and these Islamic clerics, and they'll say all the same things that if I say it, I'm a terrible human being. And the difference is they say it and they take pride in it. You okay, but they say it and they take pride. Okay, so for instance, I'll see a program of an Islamic cleric saying it's okay to marry a girl. It really doesn't matter her age. Now they've concluded 6 or 9 is not the point. Her age. The point is, can she bear the weight of the man? Therefore, if a 5-year-old is a strong girl and can, then that's okay. And he'll say it and he's proud of it and he'll evoke the Prophet of Islam. Okay, and there's no problem with that. He's a great sheikh. But if I say it, I'm saying it with a bit of criticism. We're both stating the same thing, but it's exactly why am I saying it? I'm saying it to be critical. He's saying it and he's supporting it. Another Muslim cleric will come and say and complain about how if we really want to fix our economy, we need to do what Muhammad did, which is go on a jihad, raid people, steal their stuff, enslave them, and sell them in markets. And he'll get a loud, thunderous applause for that. But if I say it and then I'm being critical and saying this is not how it should be, then I'm the bad guy. So it's a lot of it has to do with the value judgment, which is sort of something that's been conveyed here.
He used to tell people that the urine of the camel and his own urine would cure diseases. Muhammad's urine, okay, that's in some hadith. And today in Egypt, because they're becoming so Islamist, there is a clinic that opened to sell camel urine because Muhammad said so. If I laugh at it and write an article criticizing it, I'm saying doing slander against Islam, even though they're doing it. So they are ashamed. I mean, come on, let's face it. What kind of religion, kills people who insult them? They must really don't have enough confidence in themselves. Islam is a religion that has the least confidence in itself, and that's why any little criticism rocks them. I mean, it goes crazy, because they cannot answer you logically. They cannot defend themselves logically, so they resort to terror and violence.
The Quran itself says, "O you who believe, do not ask about things which if made plain to you will make you uncomfortable." And so even among Muslims, they say, and they quote the Quran, don't ask too many questions.
Don't ask any questions. Believe in it as it is. And that's why when Muslims live in the Middle East, nobody criticizes Islam because it's a crime. But we come to America here, and suddenly Americans are asking us questions, very innocent questions, and we're just like, oh my God, how dare they ask us this question? We've never been asked this question in the Muslim world.
You must hate